Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Elon said, man, I'm done with all that. You dig? I'm still the richest man in the world. And he is. Although his net worth since he started as the overseer of DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, his net worth has risen to as much as I think $440 billion. I'm sorry. Now some estimates still have it. I think Forbes.com still has it at $360 billion. But hey, he ain't got to worry about paying for no eggs. He ain't even got to worry about paying for gas because guess what? He sells and probably drives an electric car if he drives. So, as a special what is this? Title 18, Section 202 of the U.S. Code, a special government employee, which he was considered because he was not elected by the people, can only serve up to 130 days during a 365-day, so basically only 130 days out of a year. That doesn't mean that he can't come back next year or for the third year or for the president's final year. But he's called the one big beautiful bill disgusting and an abomination, and is pork filled and pork bellies and all this other kind of stuff. Real quick though, bro, what did you think? What did you think? I was watching one interview. It was a DJ Vlad interview, just to give him credit for it, where he talked to Elon's dad. And so Elon's dad, very peculiar kind of guy, but hey, he's a wealthy guy. So he must have done something right. So anyway, he's talking and he's saying about the fractured relationship between him and his son, Elon. So he's saying, hey, back before Trump was elected back in 2016, he said Elon took a contingent of stars, I think Jimmy Kimmel and a few other stars, down to talk to Elon's dad about, saying, hey, look, we don't mess with Trump. We're on the other side of things. We're not messing with Trump. We're Hillary. So his father says that he told Elon and the other stars, no, you need to stick with Trump. I believe in his ideals. I believe in what he's trying to do, what he possibly wants to do. So that was 9 years ago. And of course, we know what the outcome of that was. Trump won that election over Hillary Clinton. So fast forward now, for whatever reasons, Elon decides to switch up his story, and now he's rocking with Trump. And, he rocked with him. He supported him. Some estimates say that he gave as much as $250 million as donations towards Trump's campaign last year. So he was totally on board. And, most of us could probably read between the lines and feel, hey, look, this was a good government play for him to be able to, be down with somebody like Trump and to expand even his business. But like, good God almighty, how much more expanding do you need? But I guess, hey, listen, that's why the rich stay rich, right? And a lot of us just thinking about, hey, what's the next dope thing we could buy? But hey, so now he's opposed to a lot of the stuff that's happening as far as this bill, because like I've said before, it's going to raise the debt ceiling to nearly or over $40 trillion. All right. So there's some small savings in there, but it's not enough to stop the debt ceiling from increasing, which will, affect more people, will affect inflation. All you guys that voted for Trump. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm tired of paying so much for my eggs. Half of y'all don't even eat eggs that much anyway. I might eat 2 or 3 eggs a week, maybe 4. But either way, gas is high. Guess what? You know what? The way we need to look at it is gas is always going to be high. And if you ever go out to California, you will see what the bad jack up spike of prices of gas really costs. You probably start taking some of those scooters. That's probably why they got all those electric scooters out in LA. But back on track. Elon, who I think is probably has to be a smart guy, unbelievable to be the richest person on earth, or the richest person, not just on earth, but the richest person ever, with almost or over $400 billion. But see, this is the thing, and I've said this before. Once people do stuff, and shout out to the homie Ray because he talked about this and said it. Once you do stuff, and it's now into effect, you spent $250 million to help this guy become president. You backed him as the richest guy in the world with everything you had as far as visibility. You own X. You've done stuff to make sure that this guy, as far as to your greatness, to make sure that this guy made it to become president again. There's no sorries now. There's no, there's no crying in baseball. There's no sorries now. You helped do it. So well, not really you, because like I said, you're worth so much money. You could spend $1 billion a year for the next 400 years, but none of us are going to live to be 400, right? So you and your family, you're just fine. But a lot of other families, a lot of other people are not going to be fine. Other families, other people are going to have to suffer through, once again, feeling like people who have everything are making rules for people who may not have as much. Because let's face it, everybody always wants to say, oh, go out and work hard, go do such and such, such. I agree with that. To an extent. Because guess what? No matter how hard you work, everybody's not going to be able to be a billionaire. Everybody's not going to be able to be a millionaire. Most people won't even get to become a 100,000-aire. It is just the way that life works. There's no getting around it. Because if you were a millionaire, would you be taking somebody's trash? No, but somebody got to take the trash. Would you be hanging up electric lines if you were a billionaire? No, but somebody has to risk their life or go to training and do that type of work, whether it's rain, sleet, or snow, to make sure that you and I live a better life, a life with lights, cameras, action. So it's funny how we can always judge somebody else long term about what they've done or haven't done. But a lot of us can or may be or were at one point in the same situation. We get a little convenient amnesia. And that's okay because it happens to the best of us. But Elon, yeah, you took a couple of hits and, I'm sure a part of it was you said you got out of there because you just started doing the job in January. So I don't know if he did 90 days or 100 days out of the 130 days that he could do tops. But, and I like Teslas. I love the Tesla. I think it's a good car. I've driven them. I've, rented them before. And I'm in love with the Cybertruck. I know some people say, oh, God, it looks like a big trash can. I'm in love with the Cybertruck. I actually was going to put down, they had where you could put $1,000 down about 7 or 8 years ago when it was first, the concept was coming out, and then people could buy it at a much lower price than what it is now. But you just had to have the money, your credit had to be right at the time once they released it. But I never pulled the trigger on it. But when you decide to deal with certain people, and this is in life with all of us, especially when you know that this person may not be the best character person. And I know some people want to say, well, business don't have nothing to do with character. Well, true. But when you're already richer than God, do you need that kind of thing on your jacket? Or is that really just you? You're just complaining now because Tesla, are getting destroyed, written on. And although your overall net worth will not be harmed as much, but what about the personal dealerships that are selling them that people are, damaging, destroying? Or just the average everyday person that worked hard to get that Tesla 3 Series or Tesla 3 and somebody's graffitiing it up or vandalizing it. And I don't agree with that either. I know people have their way of looking at things. But like I've said before, that's why you cannot look at politics as business. Because there's no such thing as the politics of people. People go, first of all, a lot of times selfishly, they go where they want to go. And a lot of times they do things based off of survival. and making sure things are best for them and their families first. So you can't make everything the same way you would do a business decision, because although America is filled with businesses, still filled with people, over 330 million people. So you cannot make all of these decisions based off of just because you are a great businessman. So, Elon, hopefully with the next chapter of whatever you do, even though we know we've seen this play before, he may pop back up after him and Trump make up. But, don't mess this up. Don't mess this chance to, go back and try to do things a way that can help people. You think that this bill is an abomination? You think that this bill is disgusting? Then what are you going to do to try to help people? What are you going to do to leverage what you have going on to help other people? In most cases, a lot of these guys, they probably don't really care. Right? But it's something that, we all have to, we all have to keep some kind of hope for people. But hey, listen, I'm keeping hope. You should keep hope. I'm keeping hope that, hey, listen, we're going to get some more subscribers and you're going to like and comment some of this stuff. Because I need you guys to comment too, because you know what? You don't have to agree with me, because I know but as long as you agree with something, and that's fine too. But until next time, Brother Elon, Brother Donald, live life. Don't let life live you.